Brought to you by Coors Tonight.
Yep.
Welcome back. Special guest night for all you guys that called in and bitched me out about speaking over Howard. I made a mandatory request. I guess that's not really...
No, that's kind of a...
I made a demand that Howard have at least 2 pints before he got here.
Yeah. I've
exceeded?
I've excelled at that
Nice.
so far.
Above and
never
beyond.
shoot for second place.
So just to clarify, this is episode 36 of the Slide In Podcast. We have our good friend Howard Croston on once more after quite a interesting episode the first time. There was a lot of people who had a lot to say about it.
It was good for me. I enjoyed it.
Howard has an army is what we found out.
You piece of shit. You had the world champion on and you talked over him, you arrogant piece of shit. Ouch.
Yeah.
I was excited too.
That's
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought we had fun. Howard's back here with the Hardy crew. They're doing kind of a tour around the Montana, Idaho area. Fishing, having fun. I think they're going to go film with Kelly tomorrow, so that should be cool.
looking forward to that.
Huh?
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
That'll be a hoot.
Yeah.
So we got a
Do
bunch
we know
of...
where we're going? Do we
Sure.
know what we're doing?
I've got no idea where we're going.
Me
I'm
either.
hoping you do.
No. I don't even know what we're doing. It'll work out.
Do you know where we're going?
I thought I was being left at home. I thought you guys had a camera guy.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, we might be working.
Cool.
We'll work it out. We'll
I'll
just
change my
fish.
plans
It'll be
again.
fine.
So tonight you may notice we're drinking beers. This is different than what we normally do.
Braeden always wants us to drink beer on the thing.
One time.
Every time. Why don't we have a beer?
Every once in a while I like having a beer.
As if I need, the only thing that can put my mouth more into hyperdrive than just being awake is 3 beers.
That's the truest words you've ever spoken.
Ask Jerry.
Well, we could take that one off you, I guess. But
It's only half beers because they're not like those things you guys drink.
no, it's not real beer. It's pretty weak.
It's beautiful. Coors should sponsor me.
I've had about 12 this afternoon, so I should
Yeah.
be okay.
So you got kept up to like 2 of your normal beers back home?
Yeah, it's equivalent to like 2 English beers. So.
That's good.
If you work for Coors Light and you want to sponsor our show, we are big fans of your product. Appreciate
I'm
your work.
sure
Thank you. I've got a
that
rain here
that's-
tonight. If you guys want to sponsor us,
Tried that once. It wasn't really.
it's
I
hometown
didn't
beer.
dislike it. Just wasn't.
I find it very similar to a PBR. It's just like kind of a shitty beer that has a little bit more flavor than this. We had a guy break down in our driveway, truck driver. So,
You've got
No
customers
worries.
banging at the door.
Yeah. We let them in.
all right, so we've got a bunch of questions for Howard tonight.
Did you hear that guy at the truck? He broke down. He's coming here. He picked up. He bought a rod online.
He what?
He bought a rod online.
No
so he's
shit.
stopping in here.
Oh, really?
And he's coming. He's got a big load on that thing. He's got like a excavator or something on it.
There's some
And I was
heavy
looking out the
machinery.
window. Hunter's got his horses out in the pasture. And all of a sudden, I'm just standing there, and all of a sudden, bam, bam, bam. And I look up, and I'm like, oh, he's coming unbuttoned. And he's losing a wheel off the rear end.
No shit.
That's why he's out front. And he goes, yeah, I was just stopping by to pick up that rod I ordered. I'm like, yeah, you can leave that there as long as you want.
Yeah.
You know, he said, but it's our yard ornament out front right now. What a
remember
drag
the-
for him.
This is a tangent, but it's kind of what we do. You remember when that minivan showed up at 2 a.m. with 2 tires out on one side? There was a mini rock slide down by...
I thought it was that way.
No, I was down there because they got picked up by a tow truck from West Yellowstone, and they wanted to go back to Ennis, and the tow truck said, fuck no, and dropped him here. And then that guy is having the worst day of his life, and Matt offers him a beer for the drive home once he gets his car fixed. And the guy goes, nah, I probably shouldn't. Matt goes, yeah, that's it's probably smart, given the
Exactly.
what's happened.
I don't know.
All right, so we've got a bunch of questions. We didn't have Howard on here. Just
Did
to
we have a
listen
whole
to us
bunch?
talk.
We got all night.
Yeah, we had a bunch.
We got a bunch from them.
Yeah.
And by the way, for those who did call in and just ream me out and then write back and apologize, there's no fun in that. I mean, Howard chewed my ass on one too.
Yeah, I was reading one where the guy goes, after you responded to somebody's comment, oh, phone problem. You know who laughed a lot about our phone problem was Hank Patterson.
He's probably the one calling.
He said he was just dying laughing when I got up to go take care of the phones.
Yeah,
and I
now the
come
thing's
back
going
and
to do
sit
it
down.
again because if we forget to unplug them, and then for the last 2 times, twice it's got to 11 o'clock in the morning, and
Yeah.
I'm like, Oh, shit. The phones are still unplugged.
Yeah, you asked me to remind you last time, and I realized today that I didn't.
Yeah, that's not good from a business perspective.
No.
Unplugging the phones and leaving them unplugged.
Probably talk to your people. So we do have a bunch of questions for Howard. There's that one comment. I don't know what he said, but he must have reamed you, because as soon as you responded to another one saying, yes, I was excited, I talked too much. I was excited to talk to Howard too, or whatever. And the guy goes, I'm sorry, I deleted my
that was the guy.
I know that guy. I know that guy really well.
That was the one, and I'm like, dude, that was jacked.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
That's cool, because I just said you don't have to do that. My feelings don't get hurt. That one did a little bit. I felt like a dick.
He's super motivated to get better.
Huh?
He's a cool guy.
Cool.
It's called Tim. He's a nice guy.
It's just like Braeden. He is super motivated to get better.
Yeah, that's why I yelled at Kelly.
I wish he would hurry.
Trying. Okay, so we've got a bunch of questions for Howard, but I wanted to start. We're going to do a special edition of what is Howard pissed off about today.
Oof.
Howard,
this is not a good day for that topic. There's two things.
Wait a minute, you didn't go in the park, did you?
No.
Okay.
No.
That could be all night.
There's two things. There's one of them I cannot discuss, and I'm not going to discuss it. The second one is...
Can it be worse than toilet hoverers?
It's bad. It's bad. It's
We'll
really
wait
bad.
and have another beer and come back.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Let's
after.
get back
Wait
to-
till the camera's turned off.
Let's come back to this after another beer.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Delta
Airlines
Airlines.
lost the
There
bag.
goes that sponsorship.
Yeah.
Oh, they lost your stuff?
I got here fine. But
That's it?
Bags were in Paris for 4 days.
Nice. I got a rain jacket for you. You left last time. Still sitting down
you
there.
can keep that thing. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just give it to somebody you don't like.
that one. Give it to
Bet
somebody you don't
I
like.
bet if I called Squall, we could get you one.
Yeah.
All your shit? Your rods and reels and everything?
No, I got the rods. I had no clothes, so I stank, but I could fish.
Nice.
So that was fine.
Just like everybody else
That's
that
like,
works for us.
like Johnny every
Fit
day.
right.
He stinks every day on purpose.
But it's not the first time they've screwed me.
Yeah.
I flew into the Keys 2 years back, and the connection was at 5 p.m. down to Key West, and we got in at like 3, like moseyed to the gate, go to the thing, say, oh no, it's gone. It left at 4, and we're like, scheduled for 5. It's like, yeah, it's been leaving at 4 all week. The runway lights are out after the storm, so. I'm like, but,
Yeah, great. What's the point
but
of
it's scheduled for
scheduling
5. It's like, but everybody knows it's going at 4.
Everybody but.
Exactly.
Overnight in Atlanta, lost like 2 days getting there. It's like, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Delta.
They don't compensate
Just do better.
I heard somebody say that about Delta, and I don't know for sure, but the ring around Saturn was made up of lost luggage from Delta. I may have improvised Delta. It could have been any one of them that they were pissed off about.
Widely applicable.
Yeah. We routinely have bags show, I don't know which airline, but people get here and then they have to drive them down the next day.
I would actually like that job. I think that'd be the best job working for an airline besides maybe being a pilot. It's just
But driving people's lost shit, so you get here and they can just go, you piece of shit. I hope you're paying for my fucking weight,
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I feel like most of the time they're appreciative once the luggage shows up. But, I mean, that's a gorgeous drive from Bozeman down here. Yeah. And,
Oh, I get you.
you could be over-serving people on the airplane, or you could be out in nature. Yeah. All right, well, let's get into some questions. That tangent. This one comes from N. Russell11. He's one of our big commenters on YouTube. He asks us a bunch of great questions. Yeah, he's got good questions. He said, Howard, please explain why the Dropback Bung was developed. So I guess maybe why and then maybe a how.
Yeah. I mean, the first reason is I really wanted to ruin fly fishing. That was like the main focus.
Pretty much single-handedly the whole you did.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up from the great work you'd done previously. But
I just thought I ruined the U.S.
No,
you have done the whole world.
I've done pretty much a lot of places. So, no, really, I mean, for me, it was... So back in the UK, we fish a lot of small still waters. It's stocked fish, it's stocked rainbows. And a big thing is the indicator. Loads of guys fish it. When we're like fishing competitions, you have to be good with an indicator to do well. It's a popular method, but it's just boring. And it's like, it's pretty limited in there's not a lot you can do with it. You know, there's so many things, change the depth, all that kind of stuff. But I'd been in Tasmania for the Worlds and seen a fly that they had, which had the big foam tube out the back, and they were using it for indicator fishing. But the reason they used it was because all their lakes are shallow and weedy, so they wanted to find the holes in the weed. So they throw it out there and they let it sit, and if it doesn't stand up, they know the fly is sitting on weed.
Copy.
So they use it to find the holes in the, and then, you know, when it stands up, you know that you're hanging free. So after I'd seen that, I thought, well, you know, if I sort of tweak that so it's a little bit more weight sensitive, that's going to tell me all sorts of stuff. Like, is it hanging free? And I realised pretty quickly when I started playing around with it that if they picked it up and took the weight off it, it fell over. So then I got all these dropback bites, which I never expected. And it just it just went from being, you know, some days it would be like 90% of the time. The thing just fell over and you strike and there's a fish there.
Wow.
But it just went, and it made indicator fishing interesting for me, in all honesty, because it's a boring thing on a lake. I find anyway, personally.
No, I can't do it.
I love it.
And
I can do it all day. It is boring as shit, but I'm just hypnotized.
Yeah.
it is. It's,
You know.
and that just gave me something extra with it, and I loved it for a while. You know, and I still do. I still fish it. I don't mind doing it.
It's fascinating. I didn't know that was the. I only got to try it once, but my boat was sinking, and so I had real issues. So I haven't been on the lake all year. I never could get my freaking boat to quit leaking. I have no idea. So I was trying to buy a new one. So it's before you got here, so we go up there.
Yeah.
Got the one I wanted. Called the guy. We're gonna be at a boat show. I just said, I'll run down and get it. You know, tomorrow. He goes, well, it'll take 12 days. I said, what do you mean? It's gonna be at the boat show. I'm gonna come down, give you money. That's how it works. And I leave with it.
Exchange of goods.
Yeah. And so I still don't have a boat. But if we want to do the lake, probably can use Rich's though.
That'd be cool. Yeah. No, it's cool. It's cool what a fish.
Yeah, that the foam tail thing. So what were they doing? So if it stood up, that meant that the weight went through the hole.
Yeah. So that basically had a hook with a foam cylinder out the back, and they put a skirt on it, tied out a polyurn, but like a red skirt on it, and they had it on the dropper, 2 bead-headed nymphs below it, imitating that big sort of like a big mahogany claret kind of dun that they've got, called a Highland dun, I think. It's like a really big upwing. We fished a lot of nymphs on the lakes for that thing. And it's so weedy. Those lakes are shallow, big weed banks. And when the light's bad, you just can't see the channels and the drops. And they'd throw it out there, and when the weight came tight, it'd, you know,
straight up
stand up and you can see it. And I just really, I mean, I took the hook away because a lot of our competitions, you don't have to have a hook in there. You do in the Worlds, but not in our local stuff. And it just made it a lot more sensitive. And I made it longer as well, was one of the big tricks.
What do you mean you have to have a hook in there, the indicator?
Yeah, so in the World...
So anything that's fuzzy or whatever's got to have a hook in it?
Yeah, the rules now, you can't have foam in an indicator fly.
Right.
And it's got to have a hook in it. So...
This is just a way to get around.
Yeah.
And be able to fish.
And we don't even do it very often,
Yeah.
in all honesty, in the World. It's not a method.
Right.
You know, it's very rare we do it. So, but, yeah. It's interesting. I caught a lot of flack for it.
Oh,
I don't care.
I watched I watched when it was posting up. You ruined it.
Yeah, we had a couple questions
Took
about
a lot
it.
of heat off of me.
Also, I don't. Oh no, I did. Never mind.
You're welcome.
That's a foaling mill product, and it looks like everybody in the fly fishing world except us carries it. So
We have some.
oh, we do.
Yeah,
right.
I'm sure I've seen them somewhere.
Yeah, I have.
Well, then buy them
I
from
have
us.
one.
Slidein.com.
I'll sign the packets, they'll be worth even less.
Yeah, there you go. Should be kind of confusing.
Very good.
All right, well, thanks for the question, and Russell. Let's go to another one from Philip Van Kampen, who's, once again, a big commenter on our channel. He says, I'd like to hear about Hardy and Howard's approach to designing long rods. I own a 10.2 UL and a 9.9 Zephyrus UL that are both amazing casters, and the latter is my go-to wet fly rod. Obviously, the team at Hardy still appreciates more than just competition applications when it comes to long rods. This is not the case with many of their competitors.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, the competition thing for me is one thing, but I've fished since I was a kid, and I enjoy spider wet fly fishing and all that other stuff as well. And and longer rods for that are better, better line control, better mending. So we have different series of rods, and we have some rods which are a little bit more tweaked towards the competition side of it, because that's something I do a lot of. But equally, we have like 10, 3, 4, 5 weights, which are just great wet fly swinging rods, So we try and do something for everybody within a sensible assortment of SKUs.
What are your do you have a lake rod that you?
Yeah.
Do you run 10-footers up on
10
the lakes?
footers.
10 footers?
10 footers unless typically
Say 10 footer or 10 4?
10 foot.
10 footer.
Yeah. But typically we don't use 4 weights. We use like 6 through 8
Yeah, I'm a
weights.
6 or 7 guy.
Yeah.
All my lake rods are
Yeah.
6 7s.
We use that heavier stuff. So for me, my 10 foot 6 weight's me go-to all round, do everything kind of rod. The only time that changes is when we fish off the bank. So when we fish off the bank, I usually drop to 9.5, just so I've got that
4.
in-wind, power to get the line through, because a lot of time we're fishing into strong wind, when the fish are on them downwind banks. And
Yeah, I saw you someplace once in a mountain where it looked virtually impossible to dig through it.
yeah,
It was just howling at you.
yeah. So,
I bet it did.
Yeah, it was only like a 70-footer with a chump. With no back.
I can't tell you how many people, I know we talked about on the podcast after, but after going out and seeing you in the boat for 2 days, I guess just one day, we were on foot the other day, just like, I go out with all these guys who I used to think were really good casters. I'm like, well, Howard would put it there. Like, yeah.
I don't know if
I also did love you're cracking me up at lunch. I think us and Jake and Peter and Al pulled over, and Kelly's out nymphing, and you kind of walk back up to the boat.
Sorry for that noise.
That shouldn't bother anyone.
It's full of food, and there's flies just coming up from under the table. I was thinking it was Howard's feet. And it's just
no, well, they're big enough. They attract a lot.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that 13 or 15 foot.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
So anyway,
Yeah, so Howard comes back up. I don't think you'd moved to fish on a streamer yet. You've been throwing them all morning. And you're like, my Euro nymphs are for sale if anybody wants them. Yeah, I think I'm a streamer guy now.
Yeah, they're really
that
not,
one
but
brown was
I figured that was tongue in cheek.
that one brown was
That was cool. Yeah.
that would have done it.
Yeah.
That one that I don't think we got that one. The one that rolled it right in the beginning.
Um,
We got one big one, and then we
we got one
but
good
there was
one.
one really
Yeah, I missed
real
one.
one that showed but didn't hit.
Yeah. But I mean, to be honest, I just like fishing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, most people say, oh, you just all you do is Euro nymph. I really don't. I fish absolutely everything.
I can promise he
a
doesn't
fly
after
rod.
watching him
It's like-
cast a fly rod. I know he-
Pigeon done the same thing in streamers,
It's
and I fish dry flies more than I.
it's crazy.
Time and place,
You get known for something, and,
yeah. you get
and all of a
pigeons
sudden it
on.
becomes a weight, and
Yeah.
But I just love it all. Doesn't matter what it is.
I'm sure it's, yourself, George Daniel, people come to you for the Euro nymphing stuff, and people come to Kelly for the streamer stuff. Well, most of you guys are really well rounded in
George can
in
do it
all
all.
disciplines. George can do it all.
everything.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He's a great angler.
It was funny. I was watching him. No, we were doing a podcast. I think it was after you were here when we did.
Was it April's podcast? Yeah. She was trying to get you guys to fight each other about.
And George does, like, we were talking shit. It was after I made that comment, something about the Euro thing. And he said, or one of hundreds, but, and George doesn't, I saw this show where he was with Tom Rosenbauer and they're fishing somewhere out east. And he asked him how he picked his nymphs, right? And anybody that doesn't know George, you don't get much better than George, right? He's just so well-rounded. And he grew up like we did, knowing all your entomology and how the bugs moved and what way they swim and how, where your fly should be and what zone and what time of day. And the Rosenbauer asked him, how do you pick your nymph? Because I look for something that's shiny and gooey. I asked George, did you like have to dig your tongue out with a fork after you said that? I was like, holy shit. And then he got expounding on it like you did. How he says, you know, and he wrote, you know, he's wrote a lot of books, but he was basically just, you know, got pigeonholed on that one for whatever reason. And he says, you know, I just don't do it that much.
Right.
He says, I love to run dry flies. I love to run the hatch. I love to run this. I love to that. He goes, and he said, when they're tying classes, they have to tie all season, but they can't tie a Euro nymph.
Yeah.
He says, you will learn to tie a dry fly, a wet fly. You will learn how to do a nymph with the right body. And you'll.
Yeah.
And he says, you go in, and he goes, and we're all done. When you've got it, then you can do it. He says, because there's nothing, you know, you just do it.
Yeah.
But he was, when he said shiny and gooey, I'm like, with a fork down your tongue.
So the mental thing is, I think if the second you have anything to do with competition fishing, people go, you're a nymph. That's it. And I mean, I know all the top guys, who, you know, and there is not one of them who relies on that one method.
So
they're all like, they're at the same level with everything. You know, they pick a dry fly rod, a streamer rod, a wet fly rod, a dry dropper rod, a nymph rod, and they're just, you know, it's that consistent super high level with everything. But we get tagged as if you're a competition angler, you get tagged with that.
Sure. That's all I heard
head.
about for everybody.
Yeah.
That's all I heard about it for, especially in the first 5 or 6 years. I think there was more of it when they first showed up.
Yeah.
It was really going on. And everybody won on Euro nymphing for the most part.
Yeah.
Their number wise.
It's not always. No, because what happens is, initially, like Euro nymphing was a big advantage, like the long leader, fine tippet stuff, light fly, that was a big advantage. But everybody's got better at them. So now what's happened is, what the deciding factor usually in these competitions is when the fishing switches and it gets really hard, people flip out now and they start to fish the dries a lot more, particularly in the latter sessions in most competitions. Not always, but in a lot of them, and you've got to be really good at that as well. You know, and so as everybody's got better at that Euro nymph game, you know, in the competitions, all of the other stuff has actually just circled back around and become as important, if not more important, than the Euro nymph thing.
Right.
So it's been interesting.
How was Worlds this year?
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, we were right there. I mean, it was painful because we were up as high as second as a team, and we really wanted a medal this year. And you know, the guys have put so much work in. They're all good anglers, and some of them are new to the competition thing and new to the world team, and they have worked so hard, and they've driven hundreds, if not thousands, of miles to practice and everything. And we were right there. We were second, then we were third, then we were back up again. And we had a really bad fourth day. We had a bad chain of draws, and we slipped in the end down to like 6, I think we ended up. But yeah, but the fishing was, you know, Czech Republic's cool, but they've got some problems. They've got some problems with their rivers, with predation, water temperature, and the fishing's become more uneven than it used to be. It used to be like a really even fishery. So to level it out, they did introduce some stockfish, and unfortunately the river spiked 2 days before the competition. All those stockfish moved, and I mean, one of the beats I got had 500 stocker rainbows in it. It was full of them.
Did you catch one?
40 something of them.
Sounds about right. Couple.
But you know, the guy, it was an American guy who had it before me, Jack Arnott, really good angler, probably one of the best US anglers now from a competition perspective. Great guy. He had 60 something. He had it first and I had it second. But yeah, I mean, that's those parts of it in the competition I don't like. You know, I'd much prefer us to be fishing on wild fish and all that kind of stuff. But you know, it goes back to that whole thing. You've got to be good at sort of everything, from wild fish to coarse fish to stockfish. You know, we were catching a lot of chub and roach in this one.
What's coarse fish?
So we call whitefish trash.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
trash fish.
coarse. Gotcha.
So yeah, mainly on dry
Freaking
plants.
Europeans get a better name than for everything.
Everything.
It's the same damn thing, but it just sounds better.
Yeah,
And you throw
trash
the
fish.
accent in, right? And it's like, okay, pick up a chick line. Yeah. You fish coarse fish. You know, you and I say it sounds like shit. He says it, it's like, oh, he's a doll.
But no, it was cool. It was good championships. American guys did really well again, and you know they're getting.
What did
strong
end?
now.
What was the place thing? What was the?
Oh, we looked as high as 6. That's where we were.
Yeah. Where was America?
They were up there.
You were there? They get second,
I'm not
third.
talking about that.
Good.
Let's change the subject. Those guys
I
are
never hear about that stuff anymore.
They're dangerous now. They really are. They've got their stuff together.
Why don't we have, this is going to be a weird thing for our podcast, why don't we have Kelly ask a question?
A question. I happily have one. What still intrigues you about fishing? I'm going to lead you on this, that mine is completely fly design now. But I mean, just not like anything it could be, but mine is pretty much, not that I've mastered everything in the world, but it's like, to me, I can go out and do whatever and be okay. But to me, it's just I got to do something at the vise to go out and play to see if it'll work. And that's my intrigue. You know, reading water, getting a fish to set his head up or whatever, which all that's kind of, it's there. It's just that doesn't change much. But
Okay.
what keeps you going back to the river, I guess?
So for me, just thinking off the top of my head, it is most probably. I mean, I've put my entire life into. Put my entire life into competition fishing, but a good chunk of it into getting better at everything and becoming more refined. The thing that intrigues me is how some people who technically I think we're all probably at a similar level, but some people are still better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll call out, there's a youngish guy, he's in his early 30s, called Pierre Kuntz. He's a French competitor. He's just won the World Championships individually for the 3rd time in a row. Back to back. That has never been done in the history of competitive fly fishing. So I can do all the thin leader stuff that he does really well. I can dry fly fish it. I can do it all. But for some reason, he is just,
Right.
you know, and that intrigues me. Because, so what, I don't know what it is. You know,
That's something.
I don't get what the X factor is that pushes him that little. I mean, I can guess. You know, he's in a team of 5 anglers, all of equally high ability and performance. You know, Gregoire Jugrelet is a very good friend of mine. He's one of the best anglers in the world who's never been world champion. He's been 2nd twice, 3rd twice. He's been right up there. And I think when you've got 5 guys all of that uber high level, all playing off each other, you know, maybe, you know, Pierre can just suck off that, and that just gives him that little bump above everybody else. But I mean, prior to him, you know, Pascal Cognard won it 3 times, but it was over a 10-year period. He's won it 3 years off the bat. You know, that is like mind-blowing to me. You know?
There's always one of them in every sport.
Yeah.
And
You think about
the
your Tiger Woods,
the eternal question.
Joey Chestnut. The other one I was thinking of is Magnus Carlsen, you know, the chess guy. He's the greatest chess player in the history of chess.
Czech. What was he?
No, he might be.
From Russia.
Yeah.
Russia.
I don't think he's from Russia. I think he's somewhere.
I remember that.
Yeah, but he's I think he's 35 or something now, but he was a wonderkind and you know, came onto the scene at 9 years old and whatever, but you know,
alien.
They asked him something similar, and he goes, "He is an alien."
It's Friday.
They asked him something similar, like, "What keeps you going back when you've been the best in the world for 15 years?" He goes, "Well, it's pursuit of perfection. You know,
That's what it is.
yeah." And I wonder with this guy, if you know, being around those other 5.
How tall is that guy?
He's short.
Really? That's my theory.
He's a short guy.
Oh, it's always, to me, when I knew somebody was running with me and they were really tall, particularly spotting fish and angles. When you start playing angles when you're 6'4", 6'5",
Yeah.
Just rod articulation with, nymph fishing,
Yeah, it helps.
Euro, it doesn't
Anything,
matter.
yeah.
That angle, that, looking through thing. To me, the greatest anglers in the world can read water better than 90. That's the thing I think has done. If I ever decide to write a book or do another thing, it's going to be about reading water, because so few people read. Actually read it and feel it and see it, understand what it's doing underneath that they can't see, and that angle thing. Like the first time we fished, and you went up on that rock, and I was watching if you slipped to that rock on the right side. And if you'd have thrown that son-of-a-bitch up there and just let it go, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this. And he went, and he put your rod, I'm like, prick. And it was like, but it was, we're the same height, so we don't have any advantage. But Johnny and I would be places, especially in a boat, and just like we were on the mow one day, and he was seeing weed lines that I couldn't see.
Yeah.
And he's only 6 inches, what is he, 6'4" or something?
Only.
Thinking about it, in a boat, you're already up, you're above the water, and you're looking down, and he can see an edge that I couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm getting the light refraction. It goes, I can see the weed beds, and all of a sudden, boom, I can just see gray.
Do you know the math behind it? Because I know that's one of the first things when I was learning about Euro nymphing.
What happened to our bartender?
He's asleep.
I think I'm playing bartender now. You need a beer?
Huh? You've been fired.
Here, I'll let you hand that to him. Play bartender. Yeah. This is Jake. Jake from Hardy.
Jake from Hardy.
Jake, whose name I don't know how to
He's got great
pronounce.
thanking you.
Well done, Jake.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, I'll take it.
So I think when I was learning about Euro nymphing, one of the first things I read was like longer rod really helps in terms of fishable distance. And that I can't remember
Fishing
the equation,
what?
but it was fishing distance.
Oh.
How far away you can actually manage a fly from, and that there's some equation I remember. It's like 6 inches of rod length equates to another 3 feet away from you that you can get.
Yeah.
Do you know the equation?
I was really bad at school. I was too busy fishing. But yeah, basically from a fishing perspective, for me, the longer the rod, the better the control at distance. That is not always the best thing. For trout, yes. For grayling, no. So when we grayling fish, we fish shorter rods.
I didn't know that the coarse fish were. I knew grayling were, but I thought y'all considered them coarse fish too.
No, we fish for we consider them the salmonids, so we consider them.
Okay.
We consider them a game fish.
But I didn't know that the other ones rolled in that.
Yeah, not everywhere. So some venues have a lot of coarse fish like chub, perch, roach, and they count them. Sometimes they don't. Depends on the venue and the rules and all that kind of stuff. But when we grayling fish, quite often you're a lot better fishing a shorter rod, because grayling are really tolerant and they don't spook. And quite a lot of them quite like to be close to where you're standing, so they'll swim around you. If you're fishing a long rod, you're out there, and quite often you're pulling them in. So we'll sometimes fish shorter rods for grayling.
So you're getting better drifts close to you with the shorter rod. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get a shorter. Your frequency of cast is increased because you're not, with a longer rod, you're throwing longer and you're getting a much longer track of fly. Shorter rod, you're throwing short and getting a much shorter drift, so you're getting more, especially when you're searching for fish. It can be important sometimes. On
this river, I always tell people it's 10 foot wide, because long casts aren't doing you much here. It's just, you can't control it, right?
Yeah, especially not with a fly line.
Right. But even with, if it's out 10 feet, you could have waves that big between you and that.
You could have 4 different currents between you and that too.
And then, and you're not holding fish out there either. Again, reading the water. But I still like a 10-foot rod here when I'm nymphing.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
It's right between, and because 70% of our fish come 3 feet from shore, and most people walk through them. And
people just don't believe that.
No, they don't.
They don't believe it at all.
They just don't believe it. And,
well,
we've got so many. But you can step out 6 feet and have
and
a seam that has 20 fish in it.
Yeah.
And just sit there all day going wah wah wah.
Definitely. Yeah.
But that was one of the, when Euro first showed up here, and we would go out, and I was always drop shotting and have these just ridiculous number days, right? And guys come back, oh, you're so full of shit. And then the Eurocat showed up. Same guys that said we were full of shit, that we weren't catching the fish, Now they're in here and they're Euroing it, and they're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know? And some of them have even confessed, you know, sorry, dude. Yeah, they really were
My
there.
bad.
Thought you were full of shit. But most of those guys, when you used to watch them, they'd be throwing those things out there on a floating line.
Yeah.
Whew, good luck.
No chance.
Hopefully for you get an automatic and it just swims away from you. But yeah, the water reading, on your competition thing, I'd like to delve in that deeper, because it just, you know, the angles, the reading, the what, I mean, something's making somebody that good.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, but part of your greatness is your fucking casting's nobody. I've been with everybody. That's really huge, right? It's got to be a big advantage.
It does help. Yeah.
But those guys are probably really close.
That'd be
right?
good.
Yeah, and so as good, maybe right there. And I've said that all my life, but you know, I know lots of guys better at me at certain disciplines, this one, that one, or whatever. And I never really could figure that out either. I mean, it's just like same drift, same this, and just sometimes it's just that cat that's just really same boat, same cast, same distance from shore. Why'd they like this? He smelled. I have a buddy, the guy that carved me this, his name's Bill. That's his Bill Robinson, Billy Hood. And Billy has more absolute monster whitetails. And we used to hunt, three of us together. And we would switch blinds because Billy felt sorry for us. We'd go to the other blind and he'd rack this giant out from under you, right? And I said, the only thing I could come up with is that son of a bitch smells different. I think he smells like, I think you smell like doe piss. But he's a total badass. He was a great karate guy. I mean, Howard was a karate guy, but Billy was but it was just like, you know, he's 14 and he shoots like a 170 on his first buck. And
there's just those guys out there, though, isn't there?
Yeah, and I mean, he's super, but I mean, we all sat in our blinds and we're just we're sitting up there in the trees and hanging out, and Billy comes home every time. I don't know if we always thought, well, he can't be quieter, because nobody's making it. Now we're just like freezing, right? And it's like, something's different. You walk into his trophy room and it's like walking into Erdman's. It's like, as far as you can see, holy shit. And it's like,
Erdman's got a kill chamber down there.
Oh my God.
Insane.
Billy's, I think, in the whitetail world's equal.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like just one of those cats. Everything just.
So, I guess the question here is, I feel like we all know different people in the fish world that seem like they just have luck on their side. I know one of our guy who used to work for us, Charlie Powell. You know, he'd put in less days than other people. Like, not saying when he was out here he didn't fish a lot, but he'll come visit for a weekend and seemingly just he'll get into this big fish. And there's nothing discernible that's different. And I know, you know, a lot of people have kind of ran into this. Some people just seem to have good luck, and generally it comes down to something. But how much do you think luck plays a factor in these world championships?
Oh, there's a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure getting
like
beats,
you said,
right?
the draw of that river.
Yeah.
The draw is like, I mean, I was in a medal position, going, you know, close to a medal position. I was within range of a medal going into the fourth session, and the draw completely screwed me.
Yeah.
And you can be the best angler in the world, but if you don't have a workable draw and a workable rotation, you are not going to medal.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Some guys do seem to sometimes roll the draw just that little bit better, but equally you can roll the best draw. If you can't get it done, you can't get it done, and you end up placing 50th.
Yeah.
So you've got to have the best angler and still have a workable draw. And you know, I've been in that position. I've been 4th, 10th, 11th. You know. And on those occasions, I could have won. I could have been world champion again. Mm-hmm. But the draw just didn't quite fall, in whatever reason, be it the beat, the conditions flipped, you know, and then settled down the day after. So there is an element of chance, and you can't do anything about that. You've just got to
You got a guy that just backs 3 in a row. It ain't luck.
No,
it ain't luck.
He is.
It's something.
You know?
He smells different.
Yeah.
He smells like
Yeah.
Doe piss like Billy.
14.
I swear they just go to him, right? They just walk over to see why he smells the way he does.
Yeah.
Maybe his waders smell different than yours.
Yeah. It doesn't shower. Who knows?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So how does the draw work?
So,
How many beats are there? How many rivers do you fish or whatever?
so it
All of
depends. So every year it's different. So the minimum requirement is there has to be at least. So you fish 5 sessions, and it can be 4 rivers, 1 lake. It can be 2 lakes, 3 rivers, but there always has to be a mix. It can't be like 5 rivers or 5 lakes. There has to be a combination. And there's 5 people in a team, 5 venues. We all get drawn into different groups. You stay with your group for the entire week. So you stay with your group for the entire week. You rotate through the beats,
How big's a beat? I know they vary, but I mean,
yeah, it varies.
roughly.
Minimum's like 125. What is it? No, it's 200 meters. Is the minimum allowable beat on a river? It's 200 meters.
And that's X time?
3 hours.
Copy.
You've got to work it in 3 hours. And yeah, you rotate through those beats, and there is a filter applied to the draw that pushes anglers from the same team away from each other. So if I draw beat 10, nobody in my team can draw 9, 10 or 11.
Got it.
We've got to be separated. Where it gets a little bit weird sometimes is like in this last one, the Otava was one of the river sectors that was really uneven. And we managed to draw like 4 of us down the bottom end when all the good fishing was at the top. And we're like,
Right.
it's chance.
And people might think that's petty, but if you do, you're ignorant to rivers, because this river's 50 miles, called the 50-mile riffle, right? And I don't care what guide it is who thinks what there will be sections on fire, every section, and it changes daily.
Yeah.
And you might have a week, say, of the flats are just on fire, right? And this is just so, but it changes, and I mean, could be just bug activity. I mean, bugs start low and come up. So imagine drawing here, and all the bugs are down in the flats, and you're up here, and we're still stunned waiting for a caddis to show up.
Salmon flies are a perfect example of that, right? They move up so
all bugs
pretty
do that.
predictably.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're in the bottom of the river trying to fish salmon flies when they're up here in the wade section, you're probably not going to see a fish.
One of the world's biggest questions is, why do they start eating? Why do they do that? And barometric pressure. And I have always kind of been under just basic B there, that bug activity is a huge stimulus for fish to start and continue to eat, right?
100%.
So you're down here, and they're up here, say, and forgo the salmon fly, but just like a PMD thing. And suddenly there's 100,000 PMDs, moving. It doesn't matter if they're on the surface, but they're moving, they're swimming, they're out. That stimulus, those trout can feel those bugs moving.
100%.
And so it jacks them up. And up here, nothing's happening that day. And it's like, well, why can't I catch? All I catch is whitefish.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, well, there's no stimulus.
Yeah.
And that's a luck of it, completely.
Totally.
I mean, otherwise our guides wouldn't, when the river's on, every freaking one of them's in the same stretch, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if I don't want to be around the boats. Well, if you want to be around the fish, they're there.
That's it.
Of course, there's some arrogant piece of shit out there going, yeah, well, if I can do it anywhere. Great, come to work for me.
Show me.
I would love to have you
replicate it.
I would love to have you on my staff.
Yeah.
But and why? What's the number one thing that people walk in here and say? First thing they say, where are they biting?
Yeah.
Where are they biting? Right? And it's like, and then second is, what are they biting? Really ought to know that before you get here. But but that's okay. That's our job, right? But it is our number one question.
Yeah.
Where are they biting?
Where should I go fish?
And it really, in reality, it's probably the most pertinent thing you should ask.
Yeah.
Because if all the salmon flies are down there, and that's what you're here for, and you got 7 more days before there's going to be one crawl across this bottom,
Yeah.
pertinent. If you're the one that draws that lower 4 beats where there's not shit, you know, you're pissing in the wind.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I always, because we're fishing behind each other over the course of the competition. Mm-hmm. So you can go into beats which have been fished 3 times by 3 really good anglers. You get on the 4th or the 5th day. And for me, if I get to that beat, irrespective of what's happened previous, if I see bugs and the conditions have changed, I just forget about all that, because it's like the slate's getting wiped clean. It doesn't matter how many times it's been pricked or caught or whatever. If you start to get that flush of fly, they've got to eat, their instinct kicks in and they start to feed.
Yeah.
So for me, that's like a clear all, if you like. When you see that bug activity, I forget about what's happened. It doesn't matter if the guy before me's caught 1 fish or nothing. If there's fly, I sort of relax and think, right, here we go. This could be good, you know. And in theory, over the course of the competition, you know, we all get different draws. We get good draws, bad draws. But the theory of it is, over those 5 days and 5 men, the draw equalises. So the best, most consistent team on average wins. That's the theory of it.
I mean, probably as good as you could get.
Yeah.
Because, you know, can't predict pushes, you know, water pushes.
No.
You can't predict fronts and stuff like that. So what the hell, you got to have something.
I'm not a statistician, but if you are, I'm curious what the law of large numbers dictates the minimum number of iterations is to kind of rid yourself of the...
That's a lot of big words.
Sorry.
For a guy that's had 5
You just lost me completely there.
But I liked it. It sounded good.
Jake? Jake's got it. 30. Jake's over there.
Jake's too clever. He should
30
be sat here.
iterations.
You know,
Yeah.
Billy, my buddy I just talked about, the badass,
Yeah.
is just a great fighter. Unbelievable. He's the guy I told you had such a great high kick.
Yeah.
I hated it. But he said that you seemed pretty smart and kept me on track.
You said that about me?
Yeah, I said, God, I wouldn't have thought you'd have said that.
Did he have the volume on?
That's what I asked him. I said, man.
No,
But I did like that. It was impressive. It was
Thank you. Sorry.
kind of. It reminded me of Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah, me and
you know,
him.
I'm the guy, the dark-haired guy.
Yeah, me and him very similar.
And you're Will.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a math problem up on the chalkboard in the back of the slide in, and that's what I solved my first day.
Yeah.
Although I did show up and
4 + 3.
I used Excel, and that was like a mind-blowing thing.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, I remember when Matt showed Johnny how to do something with the flies on Excel, and Johnny.
No, he on the inventory.
That's what it
took
was.
3 weeks off.
Yeah,
Dumbass.
Johnny
that
closed the
stupid
computer.
son of
Fuck.
that stupid
Walked around the shop.
stupid son of a bitch should have walked up to me and say, "I want a $10,000 bond." He took 3 people's 3 weeks of their jobs away.
Yep.
Right? Because it took that. I mean, Carrie got like $1 million worth of flies. You got to count the son of bitches. Well, and you know, we thought we were like super cool when we went to the grain scales and started playing cocaine days, right? And we're just pouring them in there.
That's what we used to do.
Yeah, whatever he came up with, and Johnny just flipped. Johnny ain't stupid. Johnny's a very
Johnny's
educated
very,
man.
very smart.
And he's just he was dumbfounded. He was the look on his face when he went, "Oh God." 3 weeks inventory. I mean, the fly thing, because we can't just do all those. You know, there's 10 times as many in the back, and they're all. And you're going through them. And Matt came up with this equation, and it was like, wow, Matt should have demanded a $10,000 bonus.
Immediately.
Too late now, dumbass. With the cat's out of the bag.
I still remember my first winter doing inventory in here, and we had 2 scales, and everybody else was using them. I think
Did you have to count?
Chris and Matt. Yeah, I counted all of our traditional flies by hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, there can't be that many of them. Mickey Finn's a pretty low-profile bug in that bin.
Yeah.
I never in my life counted to 1,000, and I did it a lot that day. And I just remember laying down. I laid down on the ground, and my back was giving me problems. I got disc issues, and I just lay down on the ground like this, and Johnny walks up and goes, "First year doing inventory, huh?" Why? So I was like, I got a back problem, dude.
Frickin' neck thing. I used to do that alone, but I had all winter, so it didn't
Oh,
matter.
my Lord.
Can I do the walk-off thing? Need the bathroom.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally.
Too many silver
Yeah,
bullets.
yeah, a couple.
I had a giant jug of coffee before I
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
tired.
No idea.
Oh, we were on it. We were done.
What were we talking about?
I don't know, but we were done with whatever he said, and then he paused over the.
Okay, well, I hope that was a really natural ending point, and this will be a natural pickup. Thomas Holtman, 5324, said, I'd be interested in how HC fishes the Madison. When he retires from competition, will he continue to contact nymph with super long level tippet leaders, or would he modify his nymph game? What can mortals take from the comp game and put into their own game? So that's 3 questions, and he misspelled thanks, but great question.
Well, I'm definitely
How do you spell
more.
it?
It's not that way.
Is that the way that,
THSNKS.
oh.
Yeah.
Why do you got to call people out like that?
Because, I don't know, it makes me feel big.
It's like that whole tight lines thing. What the fuck was that about?
Which one?
Tight lines.
Do you see how many people calling me back that they hate tight lines too?
Everybody hates it, but you don't want to call it out.
Well, I called it out.
What a dick.
Don't say tight lines. It's fucking cheesy. Cheese dick.
So what did we? What was the first question?
Fishing the Madison, I think.
Yeah.
How do you fish the
Howard-
Madison?
Yeah. So I love this.
Very well.
Yeah, well.
For those of you that weren't with us,
Well, and not that often, but well.
I love this.
I fished it quite a lot.
It's,
Fished a lot more than I do.
I fished it for a
Like
bit.
he's been up there a lot.
All right, well.
It's yeah. I mean, for the nymph game, it's second to none, really. You know, it's I do nymph fish it a lot when I fish, but I also a lot of times I like to fish sculpins and stuff on the point on a nymph leader and control them in the pockets and stuff because it just sets up so well for that. I usually fish a Beatus or a midge above it as a flyer, and personally I like to target
As
the
a
middle of the-
flyer, it's a different term than I think anybody knows what it means.
Yeah, just basically fluttering on the top dropper. So a lot less weight than I need, than you would need normally. I'm relying on the weight on the point to control it. So I'll fish like those tungsten helmets, the sculpin helmets, on the point, or a bait fish with a tungsten head on it.
What would you call that, an emerger?
No, he's talking about like Mauser heads or fishing.
Yeah, for the point,
Sculpin
then-
heads.
No, that's the point, but the flyer.
Yeah, the dropper I'll
Yeah.
fish a Beatus or a midge.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, be
What
your
would you
tag,
call that?
Your tag fly,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
your upper fly is.
Right.
Yeah.
I just,
like to go
off
I've
your
never heard the term flyer
flyer,
before. I knew what
yeah.
it was, but I didn't
Right.
know if anybody else would, because he's already got his point fly on there. So
Yeah, no, it's just because I like to think of it as something it's lighter and
right,
it's
fluttery.
it's fluttering around, and I like to target the middle. I'll be honest, because most people don't, and typically I find a lot of fish out there, you know. And then when it comes to when I stop competition fishing, I'll still do it. I'll still do all the Euro light line stuff, but I enjoy everything.
That I was just going to say that because every day I deal with this house streamer fishing. Couldn't tell you. I don't fish anything but dry flies in July. You know, I don't. And I would, if I had to just streamer fish, I would quit.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. You know, you don't have to. I've always felt that way about the opposite side. We shouldn't. No, I'm just kidding, baby. Yeah, but just to do. I mean, when I started that streamer thing, I just did that.
A little backstory, by the way, Mel and Kelly oftentimes watch the podcast together.
Yeah, I know. It works
he's
out so
speaking
good.
directly to her.
Sorry,
He
baby.
apologizes.
Sorry, baby. Yeah. What was that one? Oh my God.
Oh, it was the
when I got the
giant fish.
Nah, yeah,
it was-
the female.
Yeah, they're always
rods.
post-spawn females when
Yeah, they-
they
all they
quit
do-
spawning and all they do
watched
is
that
eat.
one.
And I got the Exorcist head. It's like, what? But, you know, the whole, I get asked this a lot, you know, about last day of fishing, and I tell them I want to fish braid with a frog and lily pads. And they're like, wow, you're the Antichrist. Ah. But the thing that, and it was kind of a bait, which Sean Finkel took it like that, about the Euro thing, but it was a little bit tongue. But to think that, first of all, you or any other super, and I've called out every single guy in the U.S., like Lance and George, mess with them. Everybody knows those guys are great at everything. You're not going to be a single, nobody can be a one-trick pony. But to ask I don't think there's a person on earth, unless they said dry flies. If you just said, I just want to finish my life out fishing upstream to rising trout or whatever, I get that. But to think that anybody would do to get to your level and just did one thing, like, are you just going to Euro? Well, we talked about that before. Like, at some point, you just want to do something different.
Yeah.
100%. Didn't mean anything about that, Mel. I didn't. It was strictly fly fishing. But yeah, I mean, to think that anybody would do one, especially when you figure that you didn't start there. Now, the kids that started Euro nymphing, and that's what they did, maybe that's what they would, but what would you, I mean, what is, that was one of my, what is your, I mean, if you had one style, like you say, okay, it doesn't matter, that's not the only one you got to do, but you want to go out and do, what was your, just like if it was like optimum, we got 45 minutes, as Howard, we want to go out, what do you want, and here's what we got.
So like a favorite method, just
go out and not forever, and I'll just lead it. I mean,
I like sight fishing.
That's what I do. That's a July. July is sight, like this week's game, because every week has a different set of rules in July. I get 3 fish up, and it doesn't have to be upstream. It just has to have a head up, and I get 3 fish, and so I got to select them, right? And I'm out there, and I'm like, that's not a good fish. That's in a hard spot. I'll try that one, right? But it's dry fly, and it's an hour, right? It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. I mean, the best eat I've had all year is on the Henry's Fork 2 mornings ago. There was a fish right in the side, nymphing, backward, forward, really heavily nymphing. And I threw a spinner at it, and second drift, it had never risen, it was just nymphing. Right. And second drift, he broke off the bottom, turned around, followed downstream and ate it.
Sweet.
And for me, that was like...
Especially down there. Yeah.
That thing's like... Because especially the way it ate it, because it was like, that's real.
Yeah.
And that pushes all the buttons.
All the buttons. That's what I like about ant fishing. When they get a good ant, it means it. Yeah. Doesn't mean it's explosive. It just goes, it's that deliberation where it just says, that's real.
Yeah. I want that. I'm going to go downstream
it's real. Yeah. And it's like, and that's the whole game. The whole, you faked him out, right? Yeah. And he says,
because sometimes that eat it's not convinced.
Yeah.
Sometimes that eat's not the same as all the eats when it's taken the real thing.
When it's really slappy
and it's
or
like,
quick.
It's gone, but sometimes when they eat it, they eat it the same as the real thing.
That's the basis of my Cripples and Spinners book. That happened, that's what the whole thing was, is that I think it was 7, I got 7 fish in a row, and they ate it better than the real thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, and I'm like, and I finally, because one of my real mentor, Dave Ellis, is the greatest dry guy I've ever seen. He was very astute at noticing those things. And I saw him with his head underwater watching flies one day, and I was just watching him. But I was watching that, and I started thinking about, why would they change cadence? Why would the fish suddenly just go, when he was going, And then on the 7th one, I realized, at first I thought my ego was like, it really wasn't my ego, because I was fishing Dave's triple wing spin. And it just wasn't, they were making it right at the end, right? And they were refusing it, but I'm on that night where luck did play. Yeah. They just, it was the last second, but I got them.
Yeah.
I didn't get a fish over 16 inches. I'm not talking like giant fish here. But I realized something's wrong. That they just don't. That was, first you're like, ooh, I'm Howard. And then you're like, no, I'm just really lucky. No. And so the entire premise of that book, the first chapters are just talking about that, where it's just something wasn't right. But when you get that, like yours, where it went, and that total conviction, and just closes its mouth, and you watch that whole thing, I can go home.
Yeah.
I can go like, okay, I don't need much more than that.
I caught 2 fish in 2 days in the mornings.
Perfect.
We just did 2 hours.
Perfect.
I got 1 the first day sight nymphing, was fishing with Todd from Trout Hunter, Todd Lanning, great guy.
Sure.
Signed him for the first day, spinner the second, and that was my day made.
You don't have to have it. That's why I only get 3 fish a night.
Yeah.
So I make sure I get them in a place, I get a rise for them, the type, I want the head going a certain direction, whatever. I don't want them boiling and running around chasing caddis emergers and shit. I want to, like that,
Yeah.
right? And so I get 3 fish, so I make them count.
Yeah.
Some nights it really sucks to say, ooh, wish I, you get the wrong fish. Ah, shit, that's number 3. 8 inches. Right beside a 20. Tough luck.
Yeah.
What was the end of that next one? That was a 3-parter, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, actually.
Well, I also don't want to give anything away, but Howard went into a shop, and the guy was explaining how to fish to Howard, that he catches only giant fish. He implied that Howard doesn't know how to fish. Poor
But
guy.
what was the stat that he did?
What did he say?
Like some stupid ass shit that you couldn't do if you're fishing.
What did he say?
Oh, God. He
We're not
told me.
mentioning where it was.
No, he asked me if we'd been catching many fish down the ranch. And I said, oh, we've caught some fish. And he said...
Let me just interrupt for a second, because I know I just constantly... I've told people for 30 years, when you say, I got a fish on the ranch, you had a great day.
Yeah.
When you say, I got fish, meaning plural, you are somebody. And I don't give a shit who it is, right? So to this guy, sorry to interrupt,
Yeah, no,
but
it's good.
that's been kind of the thing for...
Yeah.
You don't go to the ranch. You go to the ranch for what you said was your best day.
Yeah.
That one positive eat.
Yeah.
And that's A game,
Yeah.
right? Excuse me.
So we basically said, we caught fish. It was great. And he said, well, how big were they? So I had a picture on my phone, I showed him. And he went, yeah, you're spooking the big ones. They can see you coming. One of our guys goes down there and everything he catches, is 26 to 32 inches. 32 inches. And I mean, I don't fish the Henry's Fork a lot. I fished it a good few times, but yeah.
I
that
just hope he
is-
doesn't tell Mike Lawson or Renee Harrop, the guys that have been
I
there
know,
for 40
it
years.
was insane.
It might really break their hearts.
Do you think
Because
either
I-
of them have ever got a 30 in there?
No.
No, I don't.
Not even
Do you
back
think a
when they
30
were
is
plant-
in that river?
Yeah, I'm sure there are, but not even.
Not-
back when they weren't telling people that they were planting it, and they were escapees out of the ponds and stuff. It's still 30.
It's a huge fish.
That's the white buffalo.
Go
there.
look at the slide in Instagram.
But they were all that big.
Yes, that's my point.
Yeah,
First of
yeah.
all, to say you got a 26 in that river, to land one, think about that. Weed beds, light tippet, sight fishing.
I asked Todd when we came, I said, what's the biggest fish you've had? He said, 24. I've had a 24. And I
First
can
of all,
remember it.
Let's
really
just
well.
let's clarify one thing. 24 is fucking huge.
It's massive.
It's a huge fish.
Huge
It's a huge fish.
When people say,
It's a huge
I said
fish.
one time
And
we
he
were
lives
saying,
there.
Huh?
And he lives there. He's there all the time. So
Todd?
yeah.
And he lived down, and he was the manager of the South Fork Lodge forever. And you could ask them down there. 2 foot is giant. I remember when people talk about 20s like the white whale. It's like, holy shit, I got a 20, right? Now it's like, so yeah, I got 6 20s this morning. Yeah. No.
No, you didn't.
We've
No.
totally taken away the validity of a 20-inch fish.
Yeah.
And people start talking. That's why we were going to make this T-shirt forever. Like 10 years ago, we were going to start it. 17, the new 23. Because when this shit started, whoever started this, you should, that thing and closing in your little fingers and shit. It's like, to stop it, right? It's just bullshit.
surprised
It's like
you didn't-
standing behind a freaking 140 whitetail, 10 feet and saying it's a 180. You see these guys doing
Standing
these
10
shit.
feet in front of your girlfriend. Nah, she looks like she's about the right size.
He said that. I didn't say that.
Sorry, Mel.
Sorry, Mel. Mel's a treadmill mama right now. She's getting ready to climb a mountain or something. I don't know what the hell she's doing.
Yeah, well, that's
So
giant
third
fish
part of
thing.
that.
That was
Yeah, the
fun.
third part of that was what can mortals take from the comp game and put into their own game. And I think that this is a very valuable question because there's so many people that are in that, whatever, called the bottom 50% of anglers, or 50% of anglers. And
Angulars was cooler.
Anglers, yeah. With a spit bubble in the back of my throat too. When you get up to these higher levels, like anything, it's harder and harder to level up as you get more advanced, right? Like to get from level 7 to level 8 is way harder than getting from 6 to 7, right?
Yeah.
And when you're at your level, it might be hard to figure out what somebody who's way below you might be able to add.
The single biggest mistake I see people make is not taking notice of the clues. Everything's there that you need to know. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people they're too busy fishing to think about what they should be doing. They're too quick to let's strap this on because I heard this is a good fly or this is a good method. And
the magic fly.
Just wade into the river and they just start throwing it in there without actually just sitting there and thinking, well, looking around and saying, well, hang on a minute, it's cloud cover, there's a few bugs, I'll look into the edges in this sort of like nice paced water where the flies are getting pushed into, and all those guys are out there crashing around in the middle. I'm going to go right up the inside, or everybody's stomping the inside. I'm going to look to the middle where maybe it's not had as much pressure.
I think
the clues are there.
I think that's a clue that we've never talked about is wind direction and what that does to bugs. And it's something we do when we're out there, but I don't think we've ever talked about it on the podcast in terms of, if you've got a west wind, heavy wind out of the west, if you're fishing hoppers, it almost doesn't matter what bug you're fishing. You might want to go to the east side because everything's getting pushed over there, right?
Yeah.
For sure on lakes, that's a huge.
Yeah. It is on the river as well. I've dug myself out of tough situations in river competitions when I've gone to back eddies where there's remnants of fly getting pushed, and it's kept enough fish on the surface for me to win a session or win an event or whatever it is, where the rest of the river's shut down.
So basically, you're just saying observation.
Yeah.
You just, and I was listening to you, and every time I listen to you talk, or I'm thinking about it, think about just being on the river, right? Just guiding or just fishing. You and I are fishing down the river, whatever, and you see people so clueless, right? And I watched you this morning going into Bozeman, and I went over the Gallatin. Really fast section just above the bridge, and I just see this guy just far as he can out, straight up the river, and just totally hoping.
Yeah.
Throw as far as you can out, and reading water. I think the reading water is huge. Let me talk about that earlier. But I think the thing that helped me teach people more than anything was guiding, and just watching to see absolutely how all water is the same to a new angler.
Yeah.
It's all water. Get a Howard fly or a Kelly fly and throw it out there because they're going to eat that.
Yeah.
Right? And all water's the same, all flies are the same, and cast far. I'm really anti-long cast, right? Not because I don't like it, because I watch so many people, they equate the cast to the fishing. If it's long, they're going to catch more out there, right? And they just don't break that water down. Excuse me, especially here on this, like we said, the inside, I tell people 10 foot, the rest is scenic value. Just look out there, fish your inside 10. But most people, I'm kind of interjecting for Howard here, but I know he's going to say the same thing. They don't, you're analyzing lots of stuff all around you, right? More than the average mortal's going to do. And it's just coming into you quickly. And it's coming, boom, 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 boom. Okay, west wind, I got to get the east side. You got to get to where the bug. It's the concentration things, right? And most people just see that river as one big shiny thing.
Yeah.
And they don't take the time to just, you said it, slow down and look. And they just move. Everything's like, I see it with young streamer guys. They go down the river and they just hit everything, man. They're just like spastic. everything's got fast as shit, right? It's like, but how are you analyzing it? What are you doing? Is everything the same? And they don't really, because they got a big fly on.
Yeah, they're working a grid pattern, but they're not modifying the grid for where they actually think fish might be.
Yeah, and that's the only thing. The only reason you go to those eddies, and because it's because you've already quantified the fact that they're there. So you've already broke that down.
Yeah.
You've broke it down that they should be there, and then you go there. But most people just fish all of this giant thing.
So what do you think some of those, I guess, the most important variables are when you get to a river and you're like this guy's asking, right? What can the average mortal add to their game?
Let me interject something in that. If you went to your beat, let's make it small.
Yeah.
If you went to your beat and you got 200 meters, well, how many is that in yards? Yeah.
160.
Maths.
Thank you. I don't do conversion.
Me neither.
I've got a computer in front of me.
So, okay, 160 yards.
Yeah.
Football field and a half. You've got to fish for 3 hours.
Yeah.
What does Howard go? Do you go broad and look? Do you like run it and up and down and go, or do you just take it as it comes to you? Or do you just start breaking?
I was off. It's 220, 218 meters. So.
Backwards.
Yeah, my bad.
So I walk it. We usually get about 30 minutes max. So I walk.
Oh, you get a beat walk?
We get 30 minutes.
Oh.
Minimum is 30 minutes we're allowed.
Right.
So you can sometimes get 2 hours. It depends on the logistics of getting everybody, because you've got to get 32 people to 32 beats, up and down a river, which is a logistical challenge.
Right.
So some of us arrive there with 2 hours to spare, some of us arrive there with a minimum of 30 minutes. But you have enough time to set your gear and analyse what you've got to play with. So for me, I look for food production zones. Where's the bugs going to come? Are they actually coming or not? What's the water temperature? And I break it down into A, B, and C water. Where's my first shot? Is that the approach? And what I tend to try and do is, if I've got a good beat which is all A water, I work out then a strategy to maximise it over 3
what
hours.
water?
A water. So like
Air?
A, capital A.
A.
Yeah. So
I thought you were saying aerated, like bubbly.
It's my funny accent. So we go like A, B, and C.
Right.
A being the best.
Okay.
C still being okay, and work out a strategy for what you're going to do with your 3 hours. But a lot of mine is driven off, reading the conditions, the temperature, the bugs. And when we've done the practice, which we can't practice the actual venue, we practice similar venues in the area. Take in that information and work out a plan from that. And I apply that to all of my pleasure fishing as well. When I went down, when I was at Reynolds this morning, late this afternoon, the river was full of guys fishing. There was people everywhere. And they were all stood in the edge, fishing the edge, pretty much. There was a few guys blasting it out there and swinging it and doing weird stuff. And there was no bugs, so all I did was go to the middle. I waded about a third of the way out and I hit the pockets behind the big rocks in the middle. And,
Everyone.
found some willing fish.
Flats, yeah.
But
So it almost sounds like reading water is an afterthought for you. I'm sure it's a language you're pretty well versed in.
it's not an afterthought. It's, I'm reading the conditions and I'm reading the water at the same time.
But it's a muscle that's very well used for you.
Yeah.
It probably isn't for our mere mortals.
Yeah, the thing that I think makes the difference for me when I fish, that gets me sometimes better results behind people, is I like to try and look through the water and look at places that people might have missed. A good friend of mine, Eduardo Dona, he's an Italian angler, really good angler. He's been Masters World Champion. He always said to me, if you look and you think there's a fish there probably is. If you think it's a good place for a fish, then most likely is a fish there. And you might not catch it first drift, but if you get the fly to get into it in the right way, you will get it to eat. And I always try to, particularly when the fishing gets really hard and I'm following a lot of good anglers, I look for those kind of places where a fish might just tuck out of the way and try and get the fly to it.
On that note, for new anglers, one thing, databasing, all fly fishing is memory, or any fishing is memory. So databasing, like you said, the reason you looked and you thought there was fish there is because sometime in your life you caught a fish there.
Yeah.
Where then you have to have already analyzed your water to say, it was in this kind of water. Why? Well, it's pushing the hydraulics coming around, it's feeding the fish to this side of that rock. Like when you did that one up there, prick. Slid that thing twice, perfect. And it's like there's a perfect seam and there's a pretty good seam coming around every hydraulic, right? They're going to have different contours to the hydraulics, but the fish will have a comfort zone on one better than the other. So, but you caught a fish there one day and you said, and you hardly ever see people come back and just look at that water. Oh. And then so your buddy and you, and that's what he's saying, the muscle well used, where you have looked at hundreds of thousands of these places and database the fact that it should be there. And then you come back and like the guy says, if you think it, well, that's because you know it, really. It should be there. Whether he is or not, he will be. Water, they go to the same type. That was kind of the premise of my book on streamers about on the inside. They go to a same type. They don't necessarily go to the same mailbox, but they go to the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right? They're in the same type of water. It doesn't matter if it's a 28-inch brown trout or if it's a 12-inch rainbow. They go to the same.
It doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what river, doesn't matter what continent, doesn't matter anything.
Trout.
No, definitely not.
They are working hydraulics of the water, and the more you databased it. Some people do that really quickly, really young. They get it, they understand it, and they see how it works. Creek fishermen, I think, when you grew up fishing little stuff when you were a kid, and you did the same thing, I'm sure. And you kind of stand and look at them.
Yeah.
You get to watch a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Some people just see the fish or they see the river. You see the current. You see the motion. You see the push. And then you database that. And then, like your buddy said, the master's guide.
Yeah.
If you think it, it's there. And then repetitive, might not be that one, but it might be that one.
Yeah,
right there.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can fish the perfect fly in front of no fish over and over and over again. You'll never get one.
Presentation.
But if you
And you can put the perfect fly poorly in front of a fish and not eat.
yeah, or you can put an imperfect fly in front of a fish and catch a fish. You better be putting it in front of a fish.
I mean, I can tell you those French guys fish pheasant tails all the time.
Yeah.
It's a pheasant tail. That's it.
Yeah.
A simple fly.
I mean, I
frightening.
cringe at all the water I used to fish on the Yakima River, like thinking, and I remember saying to people like, oh, they've got to be here, right? And I'm fishing boily outsides coming off big rocks, and every once in a while we'd get one nymphing. But it's just a stupid teenager, right?
I truly, which is not good for Kelly to say, because Kelly makes a living off of flies. But one of my biggest hardships because of Euro nymphing, is the fact that I think we've lost a 10-year generation of anglers that know what a pheasant tail and a hare's ear, or God help you if you showed them a lead-wing coachman. What the hell is that? And we've lost that era of angling. They'll come back. Everybody goes circle. Nothing. You didn't kill world fishing, and I didn't kill here. It'll come back. They'll want to learn it over, but a pheasant tail, I used to sell, I don't know, 1,000 dozen a season. If I sell 50 this year, I'll be amazed.
Yeah.
And the hare's ear, I hear it constantly. Where's the bead? It's like, dang. Yeah. Oh, well, let me explain this to you. But it's not the fly. It is to a degree. But if the French guys are pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, they're above average.
Yeah. And if they're telling everybody they're fishing a damn pheasant tail, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason.
Yeah.
Because it's in the right spot at the right speed and where it should be, and they eat it because it looks like a freaking mayfly.
Yeah, it's real.
Right? It's real.
It's food. Yeah.
But they also eat the fucking pretty damn good.
Yes, you do.
I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. Oh, Jake's going in for a beer.
I think everybody needs one, yeah.
I think you're right. I'm about ready.
Spray in the infield.
All right, I think we're. I think this has been a long podcast. It kind of
Who
got.
cares?
Kind of got.
I got one more question.
all right, we got
More
one
questions
We'll
for
keep it going. This is a long, lucky
who
episode for all you.
cares? He can edit it. What in genre
No, I won't.
and style
sir.
of fly? What is your favorite fly? Doesn't have to be because it catches fish. What's your favorite steelhead fly
Steelhead fly.
or salmon?
So that is one thing I don't do a lot of is steelhead and salmon.
Doesn't have to mean you fish it. Doesn't mean you have to catch fish in.
I've done a little
All right,
bit of
what's your
steelhead fishing.
favorite wet fly?
Favorite wet fly?
Wet fly. Traditional wet fly. Most people don't even know what a traditional wet fly is anymore.
It's most probably for me a water hen blower. That is probably my favourite because I have my uncle taught me how to fish them when I was a kid, and sadly he's not with us anymore. But he taught me how to spider wet fly fish: 3 spiders, partridge and orange, water hen blower, sniper and purple. And the water hen blower was the one I had more success on because it's a good imitation of a large dark olive, which is a spring hatch we get northern rivers, and I love fishing that thing in the spring.
Traditional mayfly.
Your favourite traditional mayfly pattern?
First off, how big of an influence was Oliver Edwards to you?
Big.
You got to fish with Oliver, didn't
I
you?
fished with Oliver a good few times.
For those of you who don't know, that would be like Kelly saying that he got to fish with Joe Brooks, which he didn't. Oliver Edwards, who is your favorite fly designer?
Oliver.
In the world of out of Oliver Edwards was mine too. Not in certain genres, and particularly male flies, but
Oliver was
So-
the real deal. And
yeah,
he was,
frightening. I only got to meet him once.
He was brutally honest. He's a Yorkshireman. He was so direct.
Does a Yorkshireman mean something that's like what?
Yeah.
Being from Jersey or something?
It's
Place,
like, you know, this is the way it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and he would tell you.
Yeah.
He would tell you, and there would be there was no grey area with Oliver.
Oh, I met him once.
Yeah, and he was, you know, a big hero of mine, and you know, his flies were very, very complex, and my flies, by comparison, now that I fish, are very simple. But I went through that whole thing with him, and I tied all of his patterns, and you know, some of his techniques and stuff were revolutionary. I mean,
I don't know if a lot of the
invented stuff.
Americans know as much about Oliver. I mean, I knew Ray Schmidt, he had Oliver there at his tying thing. I told you that before. But then I subscribed to Fly Fisherman Tire out of England because of it.
Yeah.
And that's when I got to really see his CDC stuff and all of his.
Yeah.
It was like, wow. And we weren't even dealing with it then.
Yeah.
The U.S. wasn't dealing with it. Okay.
I mean, he
so-
tied those heptagenid, those flat stone clinging nymphs. Those things are like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And there's a piece of fly design. You know, when you fish early season, when we fish like to a March brown hatch, you know, that's a flat stone clinger type bug, as you know. And he was probably the first one who came up with that big triangular headed profile with the legs cranked and the 3 split tails, and that thing looks real in the water.
Yeah.
And they do key in on that profile of fly. And yeah,
There's certain, especially your clingers, that when they get dislodged, they get like a boner.
yeah, they do. They go all.
And they're like,
Yeah.
like a lot of times people say, well, that's not how they look. They're just like, oh, down like this. Freaking tails are out. I mean, salmon flies kind of do it too. They
Yeah.
get dislodged, they'll crawl, and then they're like this, and everything's out, right? A lot of your swimmers don't, you know, your weed dwellers, they're more kind of get
Yeah.
going, but those clingers that are used to, they just seem to like, shit, what just happened?
Just freeze.
Oh yeah, and and it's so.
Yeah,
I didn't know that Hydropsyche was Oliver Edwards.
yeah.
Our number one selling caddis in our store.
Yeah, I didn't know. God
Number
damn,
one selling
that
fly
is-
in this store.
Historically, that is my best nymph ever. Like probably my top
Everybody.
7 or 8 days ever nymphing.
And
around
all of a
that
sudden, you notice our guides are still pheasant tail people,
Yeah.
right? They're still, in the last week, number one fly in the shop, pheasant tail. Up
That's the
high.
word.
They're running in the mid. And
Yeah.
so I don't know what they're dropping, but they're number one.
Sculpin.
Yeah, that guy was a superstar. He really was.
I didn't, that really crushed me when you told me he died and I didn't know it.
That was.
I haven't had a subscription to the magazine in 2 years. And so I sit literally because I've got him in my can and I've got my stack of the
He does. I can actually
fly tire,
verify that.
fly fishing fly tire. What is
Yeah.
it? I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, fly fishing, fly tying.
Yeah.
There was two of them together. There was Oliver and Malcolm. Malcolm Greenhalgh was like Oliver's counterpart. Really great guy. And I'll tell you one funny story. So we were doing a big tie-in expo in the UK. It was in a shop I used to work in. We had Malcolm and Oliver and the tying flies. And Oliver's are like works of art, kneecap, the whole thing. They've got everything going, gills, the whole thing. And Malcolm's flies were a lot simpler but very effective. He was a good angler. And he's sitting there with Oliver's fly box. Now Oliver I've got like 3 of Oliver's flies, and I knew the guy for 20 years. Them are the 3 I got off him. He was the auction, he was tight. You didn't get him. And Malcolm sat there, and he's going through Oliver's fly box with a pair of tweezers, and he's pulling these flies out, and he's putting them in a big part on the table. So he ends up with a big heap of these flies. And Oliver goes, "What are you doing with those?" He went, "Well, this one's got a tail missing, so that won't work, according to your theory. So I'm having that one. This one's got a broken leg, so I'm having that one." And he's filtered all these flies out of his box and said, "I'm going to keep all of these." And the next month, Oliver wrote an article for Fly Fishing and Fly Tying about repairing your flies. And he's done this whole thing about how you put an extra... So what you can do is go in the back end and tie a new tail on. So if you break one, you can go and put another tail on the other side. And that was Oliver and Malcolm.
Yeah. I don't really we didn't really have, I could do this for 2 more hours about tradition, and I love the tradition of fly tying. And I never was like an Atlantic guy or any of that stuff, but I just admire, I got this huge collection Swanee sent me of flies, steelhead D's and Spay and D and a bunch of Atlantic stuff. I had no idea the dumbass even collected this stuff. And some of my favorite tires in the world, right?
Levy Swanee, by the way.
And there's just a bunch of guys out there that I just admire watching them tie. But like you said, the styles that came out, right? We didn't have so much of that in the trout world. We kind of, there's a few. There's, the styles weren't. We went so quickly out of the traditionals from no hackle to comparadun and all that shit, and then we just kind of right into foam.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like as soulless as a perdigon, but it's cool as shit and it works like crazy. Yeah. But when you conversely take that Oliver Edwards caddis that you didn't know was his, and you look at the detail on that,
it's incredible.
And you look at Rich's fly, which is it's super effective, right? But we tended
Rich Artusi, the Artusi caddis.
Yeah, I mean, it's spectacular, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Done, right? And then you got Oliver's, which if you had to sit here and do it the way he did, take you 30 minutes.
I remember we
right?
were watching a tying video because I think that was the one nymph for a while we had that sold for $350. That every other nymph was $3.
Because it costs us a lot.
So why? Well, we looked at the tying video and went, oh. Yeah, that's a hugely time-intensive bug.
Yeah, and it had a better hook, and it had the competition hooks and all that shit too. But I mean, I wish I had another hour to talk to you about this, the traditions. And I don't really think it's pertinent to very many people that are much younger than me. But the traditions that the Europeans have, which you broke a lot of them out of me for me. But I have these ideas, right? But then the whole history of fly tying and over there. And then here, we kind of went from the European fly influence. No hackles was kind of like the big giant jump, right? And then you kind of go no hackle, and then you're trimming all the processes back, right? It's simplest. I mean, you take it, start out with the haystack, and then Matthews put a Antron tail on it, right? Simpled it up even more, and then it's kind of cross-dressing as a comparadun mayfly, and then they had X-catus, and what the hell's the difference, right? And there's things, and everything got kind of simplified. I mean, he went from that beautiful, no hackle wing, which, there's a reason people didn't want that. It was a real pain in the ass, and it broke up anyway. But then you kind of we lost tradition. Not in the steelhead world. Those cats never stopped. They were always really clean, and Deck and those guys. I mean, Deck Hogan, Bob, and Verdica, and those guys that just held true, right? But it was a really small sect of fly fishing. In the general trout world, it just kind of faded. There was not much that just got really super elaborate or anything like that, or detailed. It seemed to go the opposite. And then foam shoved up. And then everything was like, ugh, gross. And there's some really cool foam flies. But it was just like,
fish great, but
we kind of lost all the, when you look at an Oliver Edwards, like a double duck, or what was that double duck? It was a mayfly it was all CDC. And it was like, I think it was a double duck. I can't remember.
No, he had a few different flies. He had like the Footprint was one, which was the poly, really clean fly for slick water, and then there was he had a CDC fly that was based off some Mark Petitjean stuff.
This is a traditional mayfly, just a single set wing, tail, 3 tails, and then it was
With an extended body.
No, straight up, just a CDC body, and then he got this kind of complex way to set the wing back, but it was all CDC. You wrap underneath and underneath.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a double D or double duck or something like that. But I mean, you looked at it, it's just kind of everywhere and then all of a sudden it's finished and it's like, oh shit, damn, look at that thing. And you could just see all the soul in that fly, right? And it's like, damn, that was cool. But I don't have enough time to go into all this history stuff.
Yeah, I've completely lost track of how many takes we've done. So why don't we wrap it up?
Well, wait a minute. I got 1, 2, 3 more things. One thing more. There's a rumor that Howard and I will be working together on rod and reel design. I don't know if you knew that, but there's that rumor out there.
There's
I had one question.
There's always rumors.
There's always that we might. This is the world's greatest book in fly fishing history, Trout by Joe Brooks. Do you know where that is? I want to go there.
I know where that is. Yeah, I can take
Can we go there?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can do that.
Jake promised me if I signed that contract today that I would be fishing with you over here. So
We can do that.
this was, if there was anything that ever remotely made me think about history, it was a stupid book and it was always about fishing somewhere. So I didn't give a shit about history. Unlike you Europeans, God, you and Davey, you know Davey Watton, right?
I know Davey.
Get a freaking street wrong and he chews your ass because you didn't know what in 1600 it was, that's not what the street it was, you dumbass. And he goes through this litany. I'm like, shit, I don't even know that much.
To be fair, their history goes a little further back than ours.
Well, that means we should know more about our own, and we don't.
Yeah, I don't. That's for sure. Yeah.
They're talking 1600, and we're talking like, 16 days ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
So, but anyway, there is that rumor that we will be Howard and I will be working together on rods and reels here in the
Howard
very
works
near.
for Hardy if you didn't know that. Just to throw
Which
the cat
Barbara
out
would
of the
mean
bag.
that Kelly will be.
Oh, it's
And
possible.
so, but we will be
It's a possibility.
collaborating like that
Yeah.
together. Wouldn't that be?
Wouldn't that just be great? Two guys who ruin fly fishing working together.
Sounds a good excuse to fish a lot to me.
It sounds like
Two guys that ruin the
Yeah, you
world.
don't need somebody to film that old castle fishing
I don't want you to
stuff,
film
do you?
that because that got a little weird,
Yeah, that
right?
was. All right, so let's wrap up with. You had something behind the desk you want to talk about? That
I got 2 things actually.
Two things.
I get I just talked about Billy Hudd, my buddy, who is an incredible carver. These are multiple things. This is porous cork. They're all different things, right? They're composites, but then he's just like this. His dad was this. I think his dad came to me for a while asking about painting fish, right? And he's getting into carving. And then it's like, just like Billy, they're super artsy. The next year he like wins the world championships in carving.
Yeah, there you go.
So Billy's been carving, for in carver's terms, not. And he's already just unbelievably great. But then Leslie up there that sent me that painting. If you can't see it very well because I hung it up there. I'm running out of room. She guided with Nathan, and they had such a great time. But she's the gal that Ellie Schaefer, I think, was her.
Ellie Schaefer Fine Art.
Yeah.
On the front of that thing.
There it is.
Let me get a shot.
This is the gal we were talking about last week, and she sent us that painting. And for those, that's nobody figured it out. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's the little putty knife type thing that she paints with, right? Mm-hmm. She was painting a bighorn sheep for that, and she was done. And her leftover paint, she painted me that.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's badass.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put a photo up, but if you guys want one, L.E. Schaefer Fine Art.
See, I had a bunch of paint left over, so I just did that.
L.E.
It would have dragged to be like that, huh? I'd have 15
so
gallons of paint, and it still wouldn't look right when I was done.
If you Google L.E. Schaefer Fine Art, you'll find her Facebook. I'm sure you can purchase through there. Super cool, though. Great people, too. I mean,
there's a really good bronze thing, too. A lot of fishy stuff for bronze.
Yeah.
Flies and stuff like that.
I chatted with them for a while in the shop, and that's, we talked about Dallas, who she's married to, right?
Yeah.
Last week with the Wyo Wonder stuff. And,
it was a blast. But we said
great people.
We said that we'd call this out, but I bought Billy's. I just saw it back there. This thing. For those of you who don't know, this is an incredible carving. But the painting, to paint over something this porous, this is like really porous cork, right? And to paint over that, I don't remember how many thousand specks there is in it, but very cool. It's his first wood duck, he said. No, he said he had two. He didn't want to fuck up the other one, so he did the second one. And so he gave me the second one, but that's pretty cool. But this won't be here shortly because I'm taking it home to put it right underneath the carving his dad gave me. So, but that's pretty cool.
All right, let's do
this week's.
Sorry.
Band?
Let's do this.
Howard
band of the week.
sucked at this last time.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Shit.
Yeah, it was terrible. You caught me on the hop, though.
Tell you what?
You caught me on the hop.
The hell's that mean?
It means I just got off the plane. I was all starstruck, and I'm just cameras.
Braden's not
They're all
that
staring at me, and I had people behind the camera staring at me. It's weird,
Did you see all the comments on the one, by the way? Everybody's calling out my hot mom and dad because of you.
No.
Thanks, by the way.
They are beautiful people.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. All right, band of the week. What do we got?
I quite like the Killers.
Oh, the Killers, nice. I saw them at Pemberton in 2016. They rock.
I don't know how you do this shit with these memory things. If you ask him in ninth grade what baseball game, he'll tell you who the starting lineup was. It drives me crazy.
Okay,
Jake, what's your band of the week?
Shit. That's on the spot.
You think?
Yeah.
Red Clay Strays.
Red Clay Strays, Jake says. It's the ripper. By the way, just a quick story. My buddy Joe Moore and I used to play this game in college. We get really drunk, and you'd have to name a year.
2 beers, huh?
Yeah, 2 beers. Mm-hmm. You'd have to name a year and name a position. And if the other guy couldn't, let me clarify. This is baseball referencing. Name a year, name a position, and if you couldn't name the Mariners player that played that position, you got punched. And Joe was a lot better at this game than me. My band of the week is Don Edwards. If you don't know Don Edwards is great. Say goodbye to Montana.
I just had I'm kind of torn now. Healy, I don't know. Skinner.
I think I did Skinner already, but they're so good.
did?
Yeah, let's do it again.
I thought it doesn't matter what you did, it's what I did.
Oh, all right. Well,
I can do a different one. I don't
Skinner's
really care
back.
shit. Huh?
I'm on the hunt. Check it out.
I was going to go with oh, shit. Nah, I'll stick.
Skinner.
Yeah, I was just listening.
It's
I
hard
did
to beat
Steppenwolf
Skinner.
already because I was just on a big Steppenwolf thing today. And,
I hope somebody's making a playlist of all these. I mean, this is.
why don't you do that?
And maybe I'll do that. Made part of my job.
All right.
Howard, thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate
that was
it,
awesome.
man.
We
Cheers,
do
guys.
Time.
7 hours
Jake's
with you.
hiding back there. Jake, come over and show everybody who you are.
I don't need to be on camera.
No, you do. Come on.
Get over here.
You've been driving the car so I can drink.
Yeah. Oh, we have those rules in this time?
I think
Can you see,
gotta go
Jake?
lower and further over.
Whoa,
There
there
it
you
is.
go.
Awesome. Thanks for
And
listening.
I'm John McClure.